I guess because there's even books coming out, like one not coming out, one I read last year, the Overstory, which really hit me over the head with the difference of plants and trees and how is a life within them, and the
Oh
life that they
yeah.
kind of give to the planet and to us. And like I think it all comes together. Like once you open that door to realize what we're doing to the planet, then the next step kind of seems to be like, well, if we should respect the planet and trees and plants more, well then animals are, our sisters and brothers on this planet. And we think of it differently because there is still a food chain. And obviously you have the really ethical hardcore vegans that will not eat meat whatsoever. And fair enough, you guys do you. But like you said, I think there is an ecosystem that we can respect where you can do things humanely, and it can be good for the environment, and we can have like the circle of life without having like hormone injections and
Yeah.
all this cruelty that's so brutal. And that's one of the reasons I stopped eating meat. Like every now and then, if I'm at a place and it's, you know, I know it's going to be a nice cut and things like that and prepared properly, then I'll go ahead. But otherwise, that's the big one. Like I don't want to pump my body full of all these drugs, like indirectly from these animals. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I was
Yeah.
thinking. So go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, and as a consumer, like it's really challenging to know. You know, even
Mm-hmm.
certified organic, which is a great step in the right direction. Like they can still use, I think they're called glyphosates or glycophosphates. They can still use like a lot of sort of sketchy,
Unbelievable.
additives and farming practices, and you can actually still have, chickens that are shoved in a coop that never see the light of day. You know, despite like products being marketed as natural.
Right.
So as the consumer, we do kind of have the wool pulled over our eyes, and it's up to us to do a lot of investigating and digging right now, which probably isn't fair for your average consumer who's a busy person
No,
and
I think
just wants
it's
to.
totally fair. I don't think a lot of Americans, and I don't know how much time you've spent outside of the U.S., but like if I even see in Canada something's from the U.S., I will choose a different product
Yeah,
because
I
I
believe
I
that.
know there's so many like hidden flavorings, hidden secret chemicals in there that we have no idea what it's doing to us. Like even in Europe, I have a family member visiting me now, and when they're eating something, you can say like, what is in this? These are just regular tomatoes and eggs. Why does it taste so much better than home? And
Yeah,
Canada does have stricter rules on food, but in Europe, it's really paid attention to for how they're treating animals and how they're treating the produce and all of these things that I think a lot more Americans are starting to take notice of what that their food system is bought and paid for um, by people who just want profit. They really don't care if it serves the people. They just want to be able to sell more, create more, and it doesn't matter what sort of cruelty is injected into that system, as long as the only thing that's coming out the other side is more dollars.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was a bit
and it's
soapboxy, but like, did you agree? Is there anything that like you'd like to correct there? Because again, these are things that I feel and read, so feel free feel free
yeah,
to
no, me too,
correct
me
me.
too. I'm feeling and reading these too. No, I think that's 100% spot on, and that's why I clarified at the beginning that a lot of the reading and stuff that I've done is specific to the American food system, because in
Uh-huh.
Europe and in Canada, y'all are like much more ahead of the curve. Um, so yeah, I think that's 100% spot on, and I do think there's really just like really quite like deceptive marketing going on, right? Because like you were saying, these companies, a lot of companies, they don't care about the welfare of their animals, and yet they're putting on their milk cartons like these pastoral scenes with cows like grazing outside and on a sunny day,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's hard to decouple that as the consumer to say like, okay, I'm seeing this cow grazing in a pasture, but actually that cow is like trapped in a cement, CAFO, like knee deep in poop, which is yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's challenging.
Yeah, and they have all those gag orders, I believe, or ag gag or something like that, where they're like by law, no media entity or any film crew can go in and film the
Yeah,
premises. Like it's actually illegal, which is an
yeah,
insane law on its face. But like I was just watching a couple of these videos over the last year, and it is really hard to want to eat meat after seeing things like that, because like even the stress hormones that are going into that animal once it's being slaughtered for for food production, like that is going to eventually, I do think that like those hormones and things like that will also get into us, which I think are probably not great for us. But
Yeah, and
go
I
ahead.
think that that's also why I say like it's not that there's no place for animals in the food system. I actually lived abroad in Sevilla in Spain
Cool.
while I was in college, and like the jamon there is just revered, and those pigs, like they're living great lives, like they are they're eating like 100%, beyota acorn diets, like they're living good lives, and they are contributing to the land, and to like these cycles of life. They're probably eating pests or some type of prey, like they are contributing. But yeah, it's just when it's taken out of that context is when the problems start to arise.